Hey guys, welcome back. Robocraft early access coverage. This is episode 100. I'm Enigmius, and today, the Panther Bee in action. This is going to be a tough video to watch, because there's some difficulties with the design, and I knew that there was going to be when we were assembling it. And if there was a way that I felt we could build the bot and get around them, I would have. The difficulty is that it has to be a very large bot just to accommodate the guns. Just by itself, just to accommodate the guns, has to be a very large bot. Then when you start talking about, letting it fly with rotors, and you can see we're staying mostly aloft, but losing most of our guns, most of our rotors. We've got this big T10 rotor underneath, which isn't really enough to let us fly anymore, but we can still walk around. We've surprisingly kept our legs and all of our guns. So now we want to try and get back up into position where we can shoot some bad guys. But it's very slow, and see, I'm always one of the people who's talking about, whenever possible, keep your guns busy. Keep firing your guns. If your guns are loaded and ready to go and you're not shooting, you want to put yourself in a position to correct that. And you see I'm taking hits, and I have no idea what's hitting me. And then I look down in the valley, and it might have been a rail gunner down. I don't know. We took 2 hits from something. It didn't sound like a rail gun. It couldn't have been, as far as I know, a Tesla bot, because there was nobody up there ramming me. I don't know. It's just, who knows? Glass cannon, right? We've designed this to sustain more damage than it would if we were just doing the Joe average kind of iStock build. But that doesn't mean it's going to be the super robust tanky bot. And nor should it be, because the nature of it with the flying and the sniping, if it's a tank, it's not really balanced. It's just the way it goes. You can see here we trying to land and getting a little bit overzealous in my attempt to get squared away just basically got me flipped over on my back. Again, understanding when we put the legs on that they were so far forward that it was going to cause problems with landings. And it's, again, one of those things that we just accept, right? We know it's going to be a problem. We try and overcome it as best we can. Now, in this case, I could lift off and fly, advance a little bit faster, but I'm kind of feeling like it's not a good idea, because there's going to be a lot of enemy bots advancing. It's going to be very easy to see me. So I figure we're going to take up a position, see what we can do. I should have been shooting at that helicopter. There's a couple of them over there that would have been a lot more fun to shoot at than this medic, but medics are priority, right? Am I right? We shoot at the medics first. Only so much you can do. The reload is much better than I remember it from Tier 10, because the guns have been buffed since I last had a Tier 10 sniper bot in service. It's very, very noticeable. You still feel vulnerable when your guns are unloaded, but it doesn't take nearly so long to get them reloaded as it did in the past. So now this is kind of the situation where I felt like my guns are going to be loaded soon. I'm nowhere near the action. I want to advance a little bit and put myself in a position where I've got more than one target, and they're not in the fog. You know what I mean? They're way off in the distance where you're not even assured that if you're aiming in the right direction it's going to hit them, because you might run out of range first. Which, I should say, for a railgun is ludicrous that you should have a range. But I understand. You don't want people shooting out of the fog at you that you can't see yet, so you have to, in the name of balance, do these crazy things. So we get a nice shot on a helicopter, and that felt good. And then, we're looking for an opportunity to contribute something to what our team is trying to do. Now, that guy down there, the only red on the screen, except for that guy and then that guy. Because for some reason, look at all the teammates down there, they weren't lit. For some reason, maybe I'm the only one who has a keyboard with a Q that you can hit with your little finger at the same time as you're shooting with your right hand mouse buttons. Maybe. Who knows? There's gotta be some reason that you can have red bots surrounded by teammates and not have them lit. But anyways, this guy here for the most part was out of range. I couldn't get the guns down far enough to hit him, at least I didn't think. And then I got so excited that I was going to advance and I was going to finally start shooting at him, because he was in a slightly better position, and he's got a teammate sniper who's kind of got me moving a little bit too fast. The bot won't respond well movement under those situations. So this is a case where I know, obviously, the enemy team has a sniper down in the valley, and they've got a couple guys down there, and it's suppressive fire that we're seeing right now, and I get a shot on their sniper, like, haha, climb down the mountain, fool. And now he's shooting back at me, and he's taking some guns. This is where I start to feel like this whole control scheme is kind of bullshit, because I'm not doing anything to create lift with the rotor blades, but they keep wanting to flip me over onto my back just by being here. And if I move at all, especially if I try and reverse, that's what happens. It just goes completely wonky. But at this point, I'm just kind of thinking to myself, like, do I not have a team somewhere around here somewhere? Is there nobody else that can engage these guys and make them think about shooting someone other than me? And finally, one guy shows up, and it's not necessarily gonna translate to anything great for me. But at this point, we're just trying to get as much CPU damage as we can. There's that railgun. He crossed all the way across the valley, and he was going to climb up and shoot me, and do horrible things to me. And you can see he's still struggling with the control. And this is the frustration with this design. This is what makes everything else in the match suck too. Is trying to get somewhere, and the most basic of controls don't work because the rotor blades don't behave in a consistent, predictable fashion. You're just constantly tumbling end over end for no discernible reason. I was very glad to get that done, but that was my daily RP on this bot. We've actually, you might be able to notice from here, we've got a lot of the blocks that were purple when we finished the build in the last episode have been converted to the tier 10. It's just basically the arms extending out to the outer edges for the little rotor blades that we have to finish off, which is not too bad. We're pretty close, and then once it's all black, it'll be time to tear it apart again. But you can see, again, looking for a ridge that we can kind of keep an eye on things from, potentially get some shots off, and this whole thing just goes pear-shaped for me from the very beginning. There's the guy over there, and then there's a guy over there, he's shooting plasma, and there's going to be more guys coming up from here and there, and then there's going to be a Tesla hover, and it's just surrounded. And I'm thinking to myself, what I really want to be doing now is kind of getting up close to where my team is, and hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll get a little bit of support from our team while we're there, and we're just taking a beating on our way there. And there's the Tesla hover. I was taking damage, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like any other weapon I know of. And I guess they changed the sound effect for Teslas or something. I don't know, for some reason it just sounded so horribly different. But we're basically screwed at this point. And he's there in his TX1 electroplates, driving around, ramming shit. You know what those Tesla hovers do with the thrusters and the glass cannon, right? And the whole thing about the glass cannon, of course, is in order to justify the fragility, you have to have the punch. They're the yin and the yang that go together and create this thing called balance. Fragility, destructive power together. If you want less fragility, you have to sacrifice destructive power. It's like a sliding scale. They go opposite directions. So we got this guy over here. He's not the kind of guy I want to be taking on, not in a bot like this. But the rotors are flipping and flopping all over the damn place. So all we're trying to do now is first of all, get below his line of fire, and also meet up with the rest of our team and hopefully get some repairs, which is fantastic. It's too early in the match yet. The medics haven't gotten too involved with the Megabot healing. So I was able to get a little bit of help. And I said, you know what, we're going to shoot this Megabot. Pew, gun. Pew, gun. Pew, gun. Pew, gun. Gun's finally gone. It's going to be back in a second. But it wasn't me. Get this. For the 3 shots that I landed on that gun, someone else destroyed it right before my 4th shot. My 4th shot hit blocks. Did a total of 14 CPU damage. That was going to be my total for this match. See, we're shooting at this gun now. It's pretty obvious, right? And the one that we took off, or helped take off earlier, is back. 14 CPU total damage for this match because the medics are healing the guns faster than a rail bot can take them off. This was my last match for the day. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spend a little bit more time in this bot, kind of getting used to its idiosyncrasies. We're gonna do another episode with match footage for the Panther Bee, and hopefully it'll go a little bit better. But right now I'm feeling like it's the glass cannon is all glass and no cannon. If you want to be notified when I add future Robocraft and other game videos, you can subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on social media. Links to that in the information section below the video. Please leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.